Today I've been joined by the CEO of ResApp, Tony Keating. ResApp is a digital health company that's attracted a lot of investor attention. We'll be talking to Tony today about the company, some of the clinical trials that have been done with the technology and the outlook for the business. Tony, welcome to the Morgans Network, and we'll just start by asking you to explain where ResApp came from.
So ResApp is a digital healthcare solution that uses the mobile phone to diagnose respiratory disease. The technology was originally developed at the University of Queensland and originally was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The Gates Foundation were very interested in solving a problem in that approximately 1 million children every year in the developing world die from pneumonia. So to be able to diagnose those patients quickly and easily at high levels of accuracy is something that's very important. So the team at the university were able to develop algorithms which use the sound of a patient's cough to diagnose respiratory diseases such as pneumonia.
Okay, that's very interesting. So you've done a number of clinical trials. Do you want to talk us through what results you've achieved to date?
Sure. So the first clinical trial we ran was at the university. It was a study run in Indonesia with 90 patients. We're able to diagnose pneumonia at levels of accuracy well above 90%. So both our sensitivity and our specificity, so false negatives and false positives, were both very high. Since founding ResApp, we've run a 600 patient study at 2 hospitals in Perth. That study initially showed us that we could do pneumonia. Again, it's very similar, high levels of accuracy. But probably more excitingly, we were able to diagnose the other major childhood respiratory diseases such as bronchiolitis, such as croup, upper respiratory tract infections, again at very, very high levels of accuracy, well north of 90%.
Okay, well, good clinical results so far. How does the product get to market? What's the process from here to getting the product into the market?
So we see a market entry opportunity through telehealth. So in the US, we're seeing tens of millions of Americans now, instead of walking into a doctor and seeing a doctor in person, they're seeing a doctor over a video link, essentially a Skype call. So we see an opportunity to layer our technology alongside that telehealth industry and to provide a remote diagnosis tool for those doctors who can diagnose those patients at the other end of the telehealth link. For us, that gives us 2 advantages. One is that we're providing a diagnosis to a doctor, which means a relatively lower regulatory hurdle because we're providing the diagnosis to the doctor themselves rather than directly to a patient. The second advantage is the commercial advantage. It means that we have a number of partners who already have telehealth services up and running in the US with tens of millions of customers. Our plan today is to partner with those service providers and provide our technology to be embedded alongside their video link technology to reach their customer base very quickly.
Investors are always interested in the timelines to get to market. So can you give some broad indication of when you expect that this might happen?
So our current plan is to run a US pivotal clinical trial over the next few months. We just met with the FDA and have the parameters that we need to run that clinical trial. Our target timeframe is to submit to the FDA by the middle of this year. Current turnaround time for the types of submissions that we're talking about is between 120 and 180 days. So overall, we're on target to have our product approved in the US by the end of this year. And at that time, we'll also plan to have partnerships to roll the technology out through the US telehealth industry.
Okay, it sounds like a very interesting story. Plenty of news flow coming through for ResApp. I've been joined by Tony Keating, who's the CEO from ResApp.